Well, Mondays. What can we say about Mondays? Well, some people say it's the most boring day starting the week. Well, on this particular Monday, it's my mother's birthday. I wasn't too sure if I was going to do this episode for everybody, but since I said before there was no dark elevation anymore, since it's no longer happening, I decided, should I or should not? You know what? I'm gonna I'm gonna say, what the hell? Let's do it. Let's do some reviews for everybody. But I decided, for the hell of it, I'm gonna do all Stardom because I missed out on three shows that just took place recently. Two shows from the Golden Week Fight Tour and one for the last Jumbo Princess event. And also we got some news updates we definitely going to be talking about. Plus, if you guys know, I'm wearing my Jungle Kiona shirt that I bought at Pro Wrestling Tees. So if you guys buy one of these shirts, you help Joan Kiona with her surgery that she's gonna have on her knee. So if you guys are big fans of Joan Kiona, go get this shirt. You'll be helping her out. She'll feel gratitude from her fans. So now that we got all of that out of the way, let's get started with another episode of the Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Welcome everybody to the Deleted Wrestle Zone, all things that is pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Impact Wrestling, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, J Rod here. So let's begin. As you know, I'm going to do the entire episode Stardom. As you know, there were some shows that I missed out that I did not see. Some shows are continuing part of the Golden Week Fight Tour. And I'm pretty excited for that. But also we have the last Jumbo Princess show. Now, this one particular on that one, I will review more on that one because this is a lot of fun. Now, let's get started with one of the shows from the Golden Week Fight Tour. And this one's at Kumamoto on the 5th of May, and this is also the hometown of Yuna Mizumori. Now, if you guys remember Yuna Mizumori, she was originally got to move and then she graduated. She started freelancing, but she's been making regular appearances on Stardom. Now, there is no official word if she's part of the Stardom roster, but we just gotta wait and see. So let's get started with this show. Um, it starts out with a three-way match. We have the newcomer, Haya Sakura versus Starlight Kid versus Hanan. Now, this particular match was okay in every aspect. Now, keep in mind, both Starlight Kid and Hanan, they're almost about the same generation that they're in. I was kind of figured that one of those two was gonna walk out because X Factor in this particular match, we have Sakura, who is the newcomer, the newbie in Stardom. So most likely we may not see her pick up her first win just yet until the right timing fits. But in this case, it was Hanan who picked up the win with the Hanan special, giving her the W. Now, our next match, we have Queen's Quest, consistent of Miyu Amasaki and Azumi, taking on the other newcomer, Hanako, and she teams with God's Eye member Ami Suri. You probably can guess that this match would fall in favor of Queen's Quest because not only because they're good, because the X factor in is the opponents. Not to take away anything from Ami Sori, Hanako, who's also the newcomer, most likely she'll be the one taking the fall, and that's always been the case in these type of matches. But not to take anything away from Hanako, she has proven what a big athlete she is. As you all know, she is a much bigger than Lady C. But in this case, it was of course the it was Amasaki with the Amanchas, whatever her move is, she calls the put away Hanako, giving her the W. Next up, we got members of DDM consistent of Mai Sakurai and Micah taking on Club Venus, Jessie and Mina Shirakawa. Now, keep in mind, I know many people are saying the fan favorites in this particular is Club Venus, but DDM, who are trying to prove how strong they can be, even ever since a lot of things have changed in their roster. Not to mention Himeka retiring, that sort of thing. It didn't take away anything, but I know for a fact that they were I know that either Mai Sakurai or Michael would try to pin Mina to probably guarantee a shot of the Wonder of Stardom belt. But in this case, it was Himeka with her Michinoku Driver 2 to put away Jessie, giving her and Sakurai the win. And of course, as always, the so called lady with her little speech. Now, the other members of Club Venus, consistent of Waka, Xena, and Mariah May, they take on the members of God's Eye, consisting of Konami, Suri, and Mirai. Now, I know deep down in this particular match, Waka would like to get another shot of Konami because last time they had a double countout in this particular match. So, but however, keep in mind, these guys, God's Eye, they're no slouches. They are excellent wrestlers. They have technical aspects. They have like power aspects. But that doesn't compare. Now, Club Venus, we know they're strong. But in this case, it was, of course, Mirai as always, with the Mirror to put away Waka once and for all, giving them the W. This is a very disappointing loss for Club Venus since members, because we have two matches that they were involved, they straight up lost on this one. Now, our next match, we have the members of Oedo Tai, consisting of Ruka, Momo Watanabe, Saki Kashima, and Atsuko Tora. They take on their longtime rivals, Stars, Saida, Koguma Azuki, and Mayu Iwatani. Now, you know Oedo Tai will definitely try to cut corners in these type of matches because that's always been who they are. But it was in this case, as always, Kashima has always proven what a impressive individual she is in the ring when she applies a Kishikase, putting away Ida. So basically, she has Star's numbers. As a former member of Stars, she knows that she's gonna drive them crazy. Now, our next match, we have a very interesting one. We have Mei Seda and Suzuki taking on the other members of DDM, more specifically Tekla and Julia. Now, we know it starts out with Julia and Zuzu face to face. The last time these two were face to face was in back in January when Zuzu challenged for the red belt when Julia at the time was the red belt champ. But this time it's not. I'm sure Zuzu is taking great pleasure to see her how humiliating that she doesn't have the belt anymore. But in this case, we have seen what a great team both Sidai and Suzuki have been since they first formed. And I think many fans would like to see more of these two together. It's still unclear whether they're full time members. We know that Zuzu has made various appearances with Stardom, but we'll see what happens then. Of course, Tekla proven to be very good at what she does. Julia, hard hitting and very good at the ring. But in this case, it was the tequila shot by Suzuki onto Tekla that gave them the win. But this won't be the last time that, of course, Zuzu and Julia will see each other again. Now, our next match, we have members of Queen's Quest, Lady C, Sayaka Mitani, and Utami Ayashida taking on Yuna Mizumori and, of course, Cosmic Angels, Natsupoi, and Tam Nakano. I have to say this was a very interesting match, but however, in the start of the show, we weren't expecting for Cosmic Angels to do the dance again because since Mina and Waka left, they weren't going to do that. But since Sayori Inoue was not involved in this match, it would make sense. But many fans talk about why can Yuna Mizumori join the Cosmic Angels. I mean, she seems like a good fit, and normally I would agree because we don't know what it is. But what I did like is how cohesive both Cosmic Angels and Yuna have been so far. I mean, recently we have seen Kamitani and Hayashida. They have been not on the same page because of the direct loss they had at the what was it, at the All Star Queendom. That kind of changed this, but it was in fact the diving body press by Yuna Mizumori onto Lady C to give them the win. But however, in the post match, Yuna says she left home when she was 19 years old. I think she's in her 30s right now. Um, she never went back, but now that she's made results in her hometown of Kumamoto, she's happy to be there. But she even says seems like she's interested in possibly maybe joining Cosmic Angels. But Tam and Natsupo kind of told her, "Well, get your affairs in orders, and possibly they're welcoming it." I mean, but don't know exactly how Nana Takashi will treat it, but we'll see about that. So I think that's pretty much it for this particular show from Stardom. Let's go to the following day of Stardom's show for the Golden Fight Week tour, and this one I believe is Utami Hayashida's hometown of Kagoshima. So let's get started on that one. Okay, we'll continue with more with Stardom's of the Golden Week Fight Tour. This one took place on the 6th of May in Kagoshima, which is Utami Hayashida's hometown. So this is very interesting, especially this is the advantage where Queen's Quest could walk away with the win in the main event. But before anything else, let's get started with our first match. Our first match is once again another three-way. We have once again Haya Sakura in the match. She faces Waka Tsukiyama and Miyu Amisaki. Now, many people probably would have thought, since you're, if I have any Waka fans out there, that Waka probably would walk away with this particular match. Now, recently we have seen both interactions between both Waka and Sakura. Recently, Sakura recently made some bad remarks to Waka, calling her an annoying senior. But that did not stop her. But however, they're forgetting the X factor is, of course, Masaki, who's right there. Now, you probably would think that there's going to be Waka could walk away with the win. But however, in this case, it was Amasaki who picked up the win when she applied the Tenzai, giving onto Amasaki, and I mean on Amasaki tried the Tenzan onto Sakura to pick up the win, and Waka did not walk away with the win at all. Now our next match we have Saki Kashima versus Yuna Mizumori. You probably would have assumed this is going to be a good, interesting match, but however, as always, Saki Kashima has proven why she is who she is. She applied once again the Kishikase onto Mizumori and picked up another good win. Now, our next match, we have Hanako teaming up with Club Venus's um, Jesse. They take on Mai Sita and Suzuki. This is going to be interesting. Now, as I said before, Sita and Suzuki have been very good as a tag team since the start of the Golden Week Fight Tour. But they have to face against, of course, Hanako, who's a bit more bigger. But it was no problem for Suzuki. Now, I would have assumed she was going to apply the tequila shot, but no, she applied this submission move called the uh, Nokubari lock onto Hanako, giving her the chance to tap out, and it was over right from there. So giving them the win. Next up, we got the members of Stars, more consistently Ida, Koguma, and Azuki taking on Club Venus, consistent of Xena, Mariah May, and Mina Shirakawa. Now, you probably thought this is going to be a 50-50 chance that one of those teams could win since they are fan favorites. But however, much of the Golden Fight Tour, there have been some losses with Club Venus, but somehow Mina was able to pick up the win by applying the glamorous collective driver onto Sayaida to give them the good win. Now, our next match, we have Stars, consistent of Hanan and Mayu Iwatani. They take on Natsupoi and Tam Nakano, aka Meltier. So, this was going to be a fun, interesting matchup because, as you know, Meltier is a very fun team to enjoy. Everybody loves them. But I think this is going to be an interesting because both sides, they're top champions. I mean, Mayu is the current IWGP Women's Champion. Tam is the Red Belt Champion. But in this case, at the end of this match, we did see, of course, Natsupoi with the Ferio gift on Tahana, giving Meltier the win. Next up, we got DDM, consistent of Tekla, Masakura, Maika, and Julia, taking on Godzai, consistent of Konami, Suri, Mirai, and Ami Sori. DDM initially made the attack onto Godzai right away to get a quick start in this match, thinking this will give them the advantage to soften Godzai up. but it wouldn't take any long that much because apparently it just overturned. Now, keep in mind, of course, God's Eye are the toughest team that we have seen so far, but it was, of course, Suri with the Baiko onto Sakurai to pick up the win. And once again, Sakurai with her little nonsense telling the Commodores Suri had enough, and of course, Sakurai felt that she's not going to let this one slide, but once again, that's how it is. Now, our main event is Oedo Tai, consistent of Ruka, Momo, Watanabe, Starlight Kid, and Natsuko Tora taking on Queen's Quest, Lady C, Saya Kamitani, Utami Hishi, and Asumi. You probably thought this is going to be another match where, of course, we see Oedo Tai trying to cheat their way through in this particular match. Normally, we see that. But in this case, it was a German suplex by Utami Yoshida to put away Ruka, giving them the win. You probably would have thought Oedo Tai was almost could have gotten away with it, marking their territory in Utami Yoshida's hometown. But of course, Utami, who is just a hometown girl, she gave us her little promo and all this and that. So we don't know when she'll be back at her hometown, but I'm sure everybody will be excited to see her once again. So I think that's pretty much it for this particular show. Let's move on to the final one with Stardom, The Last Jumbo Princess. Okay, The Last Jumbo Princess. This is the retirement ceremony show featuring Himeka. As you know, she was retiring from pro wrestling. They made a pretty good ceremony, if you guys are wondering. What did they do in this particular ceremony? So this one is pretty interesting. So they took it back to Cork and Hall. Now, those who are unfamiliarized with Japanese retirement ceremonies, in Stardom they have a bit of a tradition. For those who don't understand, the tradition is that the retirement, the person retiring, will have to face the entire roster of Stardom. That's right, folks, all 30 of them. And here's the kicker: you only have 1 minute in order to pick up the win. So this is a very fun match, but in the same time, it's more about stamina and all. The first time I ever saw this was a couple years ago. I think 2 years ago I saw this. This was part of the Kagetsu, or should I say Yoshino's retirement match that he had in Stardom before retiring. Um, there are some great moments when it comes in these type of matches. Like the first time I saw it with Yoshino, it was more. There was some good moments where, of course, Dev Yamasan, who we know as Fukigen Dev, she wasted all that 1 minute going, Dev, Dev, in all four corners. You don't think that Fukigen Dev would have done the same thing in this retirement with Himeka? The answer to that, yes. So basically, they waste the 1 minute time. Now, the early portion of these matches, they had the rookies. That would have been easy for Himeka to win, but at some point in these type of matches, we see where either she loses her matches or B, time limit draws. Now, some people would say, J Rod, 1 minute it doesn't seem like it's a good idea. Well, that's what makes it fun because certain times we see people waste time when it comes to, having 1 minute, because some things happen in those 1 minutes. Like for example, when I saw this with Kagetsu, it was Tam brought in had the panda that she gave to her, and of course she tossed the panda back to her. Did the little spinning heel kick instead of pinning her, she just puts it on top of her and does a little prayer and all that. She wasted her valuable time on that. We've seen that. Tam, instead of doing that, she does the little pose, the Yep, that's what it was happening. So there's waste of time of 1 minute in case anybody knows. I mean, the matches end in draw. I think majority of them ended a draw. But there was a very good significant moment in this match where, of course, Aphrodite, more consistent Queen's Quest members, Utami Ishida and Sai Kamitani showed up, but Himeka's tag partner Maika decided to show up and give her a helping hand. And I thought that was a great moment too. But however, these type of matches you probably see. Okay, she wins some, she loses some, draws. There's no insignificance. But best moments are, of course, is when every fact people give her flowers. Like we did see Yumiko Ota, who was one of her instructors. So is Junaki Yama. Rossi was there too. I'm trying to remember who else was there. And then, of course, each of the factions from, Club Venus, Cosmic Angel, God's Eye, DDM, everybody were there to send her flowers and all this other stuff. And of course, the 10 bell salute. Um, DDM did that, so everybody took turns, but it was Himeka who, in fact, rang the last bell. And of course, she was carried out around the ring, all this and that, saying goodbye to her fans. Um, it was a great emotional moment. I mean, it's sad because people have criticized her because saying, "Oh, Himeka, you're so young, you don't need to retire." But she's thankful that throughout her 5 years as a pro wrestler, that she hasn't gotten injured. And I have to say, I agree. I mean, it is amazing after all those years that you haven't gotten injured, but she made this choice, and whatever she does afterwards, I'm just her. I'm glad that we will be happy for her. Recently, there was some photos of her hanging out with her friend. You guys may be surprised with Mina Shirakawa. Now, some of you say, why is she hanging out? Guys, she's retired. She can do whatever the hell she wants. She doesn't have to play by the rules of, because of the faction thingy. But it's great. It was a great moment. If you guys ever seen it, you should check it out. Also check out the Kagetsu retirement ceremony. You probably will like that one. But if you ask me, for me, which one's the best one I did enjoy, I have to say the Kagetsu one is my favorite one. So I think that's pretty much it for this one. So let's go with some news updates. Okay, so welcome to our news update. So this is what we have. Now, for West Coast Pro for the Kid Zombie show on the 9th of June, two matches have been announced. We have Kevin Blackwood versus Artemis Spencer. If you guys aren't familiarized with Artemis Spencer, he was the first ever Defy champion. And in our second match, we have women's action, Rachel Ellering versus Vert Vixen. I think that's going to be a really good match to watch. Now we jump into GCW. As you know, they'll make their appearance at WrestleCade on the in November. However, they announced that Nick Gage will be there too, and so is Rock and Roll. Rock and Roll. Ricky Morton is gonna be there. Now, interesting developments that was announced. This one was announced by Kevin Nash. It was told that if you guys remember this individual, Jeremy Borash, who served as a comment like a ring announce, like either interviewer at Impact Wrestling for many years, has been pointed as Triple H's right hand guy, and he's also the senior director of content and development in WWE. So I was fully aware about something like that, but I wasn't too sure what title job he was going to have. But also learning now that he is Triple H's right hand man, I think that's something we definitely need, because we need people that you can rely on what things goes on in the wrestling business, especially if you are running a promotion, that sort of thing. And I think that's pretty much it what we have for everybody. So let's just, I believe, call it a day. Well, I hope everybody enjoys this episode. Well, like I said before, I wasn't too sure if I wanted to do this or not because it was my mom's birthday and it was gonna take too much time. Let me tell you guys how my day was for my mom's birthday. Me and my mom, along with my brother, we went to see Fast 10. Um, Pretty good movie. I mean, there were some things I did not like, some things I did, but I'm not gonna get into it because you guys should definitely see it. And of course, my mom and I, my brother, we met up with my dad nearby at the Cheesecake Factory, which is our favorite place to celebrate our birthdays. And practically after that, uh, my mom and I took my brother home, and that's pretty much it. but I was trying to debate whether if I wanted to do this episode or not because it was already after 7 or so. But I did everything all in time for everybody. Was so excited for this. Coming up, it's going to be Tuesday Wrestling. Not only we have NWA and NXT, there's 3 shows coming from Japan. We definitely going to be doing. Hopefully, I can put all of it together. The first one is, of course, from last Sunday, I believe, with GLEAT with G Pro Wrestling version 53. I think we had the G Infinity tag titles on the line on that one on that particular show, and then of course, since it's Tuesday Wrestling in Japan, we have the Hana Kimura Memorial Show, Pinks. I think that's going to be a very interesting one to look at. And of course, we have um, the best of the Super Juniors. As we know, we find out who advances in the A block, and that's going to be very interesting to watch. There's a lot of things that could happen in that particular show, but I'm so excited to see how it goes. But for now, I'll see you guys in the next DWZ time. Same DWZ channel. I must bid all of you adieu. So, goodbye. Mwah, and have a nice day. Bang.